Hello, everybody. Konnichiwa minaboku wa Jeremy das. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Today we are talking about the Eurovision Song Contest once again. And the last video got some pretty good traction, and I got some interesting comments. I said it already, the I word that I'm trying not to use as much. But I will try to keep those in mind. This is my personal opinion, of course, on these, the songs and stuff that we are getting now. And someone mentioned about my comment about Screamo and how I could do without it. Well, Screamo's not my personal favorite stuff. I understand that some people like it, and that's great. And there's actually a song that we're going to be talking about in this set of videos today. There's 6 countries, actually, that we'll be talking about. And they, of course, are Germany, Cyprus, Poland, Serbia, Moldova, and Iceland. We also know the names of the songs for Israel, which is Unicorn, and then there's also another one coming out soon. There's been teasers of them, but not the actual full things yet. So I will probably comment on them next week or whenever they come out, I suppose. But let's get down to it, and we shall see how things go. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the German entry, and this one is the one that I was disappointed with a little bit, because I'm sure I mentioned before that I was a big Patty Gurdy stan. I understand why she didn't win, because she seemed pretty nervous in her performance, and it wasn't as glitzy as some of the others. This one here is definitely glitzy. You've got your glam rock they remind me of Maneskin a little bit, and a little kind of like that Australian band that we're getting this year too, except that one is more like Nickelback style. This one is more of the glamour rock, which is fine. There's elements of screamo in it. It's every time they do the like the really like loud, I can't even do it. How does that not ruin your voice? And I've never understood that. But so this song itself, it's got a message to it, and it doesn't seem like a bad message. The performance is a little it seems like it's very flashy, but whereas Damiano would go around and interact with his bandmates with Maneskin, there's not much interaction here. The levels are kind of neat, but I don't know. I don't see this one being a top 10 finisher. I think it's not going to be like a low level one. I really did like Jendrik's I Don't Feel Hate, and I also really liked Malik's song last year. But if he would have used more of the stage with the instruments and stuff, I think he would have done better. Rock Stars, that's more of my liking. So Germany going with this, it's fine, because it is different from what they have previously done the last couple of years, so that makes sense. But I just feel it's not going to be a top 10 entry, but I also don't think it's going to get a 0 either. I Don't Feel Hate was very underrated. It had a great message. It was flashy. Jendrik was amazing on stage. He played the little ukulele. He was just having fun with it, and that's the main thing about it. So these guys look like they're having a good time too, as much as you can with this aesthetic, I suppose. And they're not quite lordy, but it definitely has that element of performance, and I do appreciate good performance here and there. All right, let me fix this now, because I'm still learning all of this stuff. I want to make sure that I have the right thing in the next window. So we are going to talk about Break a Broken Heart, and this one is Cyprus's entry. And Cyprus, where are we here? Now this one I don't have a live performance of, so I'm going by the music video here, and this guy gives me Stefan vibes, like from Estonia last year. I don't know why. Obviously the song is completely different, because it's not even a country style one. It's more of your generic love/breakup song. We have obviously a swimming motif going on, a date thing, a couple breaking up, or something's going on here. They're happy, and then of course eventually they're gonna break up, and then the emo guy starts singing about it, and it's just, I don't know. It's a decent song, not a top 10, I don't think. I really think this is kind of on your mid. It might end up around the 20s somewhere. Unless people think it's a little too generic, at which case it might end up kind of going down to the lower end. You never really know with what's going to happen with Eurovision, so it's I don't know. Anyway, so again, not my favorite, not the worst. It's pretty mid in my opinion. From there, we're going to move on to Poland and what I guess is currently considered the most controversial, most dramatic. Russia's out of the contest this year again, so I guess somebody had to step up to the plate with the controversy, and apparently it's going to be Poland to start things off this year. And the controversy around this song, from what I understand, allegedly is that the boyfriend of the girl that is performing is on the jury, and that's kind of something where that jury member should have recused herself for it if it is true. And yes, this is Brooke representing Ireland. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being facetious. That's what I get is this. I didn't like Brooke's song last year. I kind of get something very similar with this. This is Blanca with the song Solo for Poland. They look really polished. Like, so far for the live stuff, this is probably, I would say, one of the more polished ones. If they perform like this on stage at Eurovision, they could possibly do decently well, especially if the people that aren't involved in Europe as much, and like you have the, like, because the rest of the world gets to vote, and all of our votes from countries that aren't involved count as one country altogether as a whole. So looking at this, I mean, it's got a good possibility of making it internationally in other countries. So if they don't know the backstory to it, then they might look at it and say, hey, it's not bad. If you go by song, it's kind of a mediocre reggae style song, reggaeton, which is fine. You know, I do like that. It's got a little bit of a different vibe to it, but at the same time, it is also quite generic and playing it safe, I would say. I don't see it being a top 10. I really don't. I don't even necessarily seeing it being a top 20, to be perfectly honest. But again, things have... I mean, somehow Lena got first place for Germany with Satellite, and that still boggles my mind to this day in 2009. But I digress. Again, my opinions are weird and different from a lot of the rest of Eurovision fans, I guess. But this one is a hot topic one. A lot of message boards are going on. People from Poland are saying, please, this is not what the public wanted. Please don't vote for this song. Now, that's kind of a political stance, I suppose, in a sense. Again, if you're going by just song, I still think it's mediocre enough that it's not, they wouldn't really see a top 10 finish anyway. But just given the circumstances, if they are true, that's not kosher. Like, it just seems, I don't know. I don't know the whole truth, so I'm just going by that. And so my opinion on the song, it's kind of mediocre, I guess. So we'll leave it at that. All right. The next one, the Serbian entry. This song here is probably the most standout one for me of this bunch here. The aesthetic, I mean. Yes, that I would say it's so even over Lords of the Lost. They're like paying ode to Cyprus's entry last year, which didn't make it even past the semi-final. You've got kind of like that weird shell conch thing there. Now, this guy also has the weakest vocals of the bunch so far. I don't know if it's just this performance, but he makes up for it with the performance itself and the aesthetic, and I can appreciate that because I don't have the strongest vocals either. So making up for it with like in very unique background, you've got like this futuristic video game almost vibe, and the song stands out as one of the oddities, I guess. Like the instrumental's weird. It's not as good as In Corpore Sano was, because last year obviously we had Constructa with Betis Drava. Betis Drava, Betis Drava, Betis Drava, like having the whole arena clap. This song doesn't have that element of being able to get everybody involved with it like that one did. So again, I don't think this is going to be a top 5 or top 10. This is probably also going to be in that mid-range between the 10 and 30, somewhere in there. It depends on what the Eurovision public thinks of it this year. So, and that's my thoughts on that one. Okay, moving on from Serbia, we're going to go to Moldova. Moldova. I was a little shocked, actually, that Moldova chose this and not Ali on a Moon, or one of the other ones that they've gone with in the past, Sunstroke Project, but their song was kind of weak this year. So this one, I immediately get Hulin vibes, like from Alvan and Ayaz for France last year, except, oh, and also Stefania, from Ukraine. Like there's the amalgamation, the cultural stuff there, and I like that. This one pulls it off better than Stefania and Fulin's live performances did, I think. Their vocals are great, and of course this is a live performance, so if they bring this to the stage, they could have a strong performance, a strong finish even. This will do better than Hulin did. Hulin got kind of last place last year, sadly. Even though, like, I love that song so much, but their live was just not that great. This one's toned down, but at the same time, it's got great power to it as well, if that makes sense. And I love having the presence of the drums there and the very pagan-like symbolism in it. So this is like the 2023 Hulin, if it had a place in there. It's unique as well, and I really, really like this one. I could see this one being a top 15. I'm going to say that probably in there somewhere, but it's great. And my all-time favorite song of Eurovision to date is still Wild Dances by Ruslana from Ukraine 2004. And I kind of get vibes from it, although a little toned down from it, but you've got that like just the tribal drum sound to it. Kind of like how Only Teardrops had it, and so did All Our Lives We've Been the Same. Ireland's entry in that same year that came like dead last, which I didn't understand because it was an amazing performance. But in our darkest hour, I can't think of the name of it. Anyways, I'm sure you probably know what I mean. So I like this song. I do think that it has great potential amongst this group of songs. And last, we're going to speak about Iceland, and the song that Iceland has is Power, and I believe the lady's name is Delia, and it's spelled Dilji. Let me get to the screen here. Sorry. There we go. Dilja. Yeah, Delia. I think that's how you would pronounce it. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our pop gospel song for this year. There weren't really any gospel songs last year, aside from maybe Malta. I would say I would consider that one to be close to gospel. Whereas 2021, we had 4 of them and none of them did well. I still think Amen by Anna Soklic was the strongest entry that year. Her voice was amazing. This one, I get Baby Spice vibes, like the aesthetic of this lady. Her voice is amazing, though. She's all over the place. Some people might find it annoying with the squeakiness of it, but it's not bad. I get Alexandra Rotan vibes from her, like from Kano as well, too. She's a great performer. She's owning the stage by herself being on there, and she's having fun with it, and that's the most important thing. With a fast-paced, upbeat song like this, you want to show the audience that you're having fun, because your energy is going to translate to them. And I really like this. The lighting, the screens, her vocals. This is a great song, and I think they have a really good chance. I wasn't a big fan of Dowdy Fryer's songs over the last couple of years, and we had that toned down song from Sister last year, which was a good entry too, but this one's really high, fast-paced, high energy, and I think it translates well to the Eurovision stage. And this is another one kind of like Snap that I could see making it big internationally as well too. So good job in your choice, Iceland. I think this is my favorite of all of this group of 6 songs in general, and it's called Power by Delia. So those are my feelings towards the songs that we have in this go round, and we're gonna have more revealed later this weekend. I think next weekend Sweden will finally choose, and we all know, I'm pretty sure that's Loreen is gonna win with Tattoo. I would be stunned if she didn't get chosen to represent Sweden. And I think if she does, or when she does, I would be stunned if she doesn't win Eurovision this year, or at least top 5. But I do think, again, as much as I stand Alessandra and Vesna, I think that Tattoo by Loreen is the strongest song out of all of them in general right now. But there are still a few countries that might surprise us, and it's looking even more like Rina Sawayama might be the UK's choice. There's little hints out there for Eurovision this year too. So, anyways, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'd love to hear from you. And Eurovision season, it's so much fun, and I can't wait until we get all the songs, and I can't wait to be able to buy the album when it comes out as well, too. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.